to another week of baby knits, and again it's a blanket. There will be this one and another 2 patterns. So I finished writing the pattern and I have it here. It's 2 pages. It's got row by row instruction for the lace and obviously for the whole blanket, and that will be available to download on my Ravelry, and please check the description down below for links to that. I've decided to show you how to knit this blanket before I finish knitting it, because there are like a few things that it's easier to show on the main blanket. However, I'm going to knit along with you a tiny sample. But this is the blanket. This is what it's going to look like, pretty much the same size as the other one, so about a square meter. And for this blanket, it's called the leaves blanket, by the way. I started with garter stitch and then we went straight into the leaves, and it has a garter stitch border, and it will stretch when it's washed and blocked. It won't stay so curly. Sorry about the noises. But this is what it looks like. It's got leaves repeat on 14 stitches, so repeats of 14 stitches. I believe there are 10 repeats, and it's a 20 row section. So every 20 rows you start a new leaf, and you start with this one. So you start here, oh sorry, you can see. So you start here, finish this leaf, and finish this leaf. That's 20 row repeat on a 14 stitch count. Let's put that on the side for now, and I'm going to show you the wool, well, the yarn. I'm using Drops Muscat, like the previous one that I've done. It's a very nice cotton, 100%. It's recommended you knit it with 4mm needles. I use 4.5 just for the, make it a bit looser and drapier. This one is green, so it works for boys and girls. That's why I don't know my friends' I don't know what my friends' babies are gonna be, so I have to knit something that goes for boy and girl. So you will need your yarn. I use circular needles on my blanket, the Knit Pro Platinas. They're pointy enough to work this stitch, because we have some stitches that are a bit difficult, but with pointy needles it works better. So they're my circular. But for the demonstration I'm gonna use double pointed needles. They're easier to use, and I have my Knit Pros, and these are, I can't even remember by who, I think Pony. You can get these in Hobbycraft. These are a bit longer. So yeah, you also need a row counter. Now, to be honest, I didn't use my row counter much, because you kind of know where you're at in the work, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we start knitting. And you also need stitch markers. So I have these ones with beads that I made, and I'll show you. I mean, you don't have to put the stitch markers on, but I kind of like to know where I'm at, and it's just easier, especially if you want to do Netflix, if you want to watch Netflix while you're knitting this blanket. So as you can see, I put a stitch marker after the garter stitch border, and then a stitch marker after every repeat. So every 14 rows I put a stitch marker, and then at the end, because this is a 14 plus 2, this is the plus 2, so I put stitch marker before and after it, and the garter stitch border. So that's what you need the stitch markers for, but you don't have to use them. I do prefer using them. For the cast on, we're going to do the long tail cast on. Obviously I'm not going to cast on as many as needed for the blanket, but it's all written in the pattern. So this is how I cast on. I hold the yarn like this, I twist, and I pull through the tail, and then I usually cast on 2 needles. So that's 1 stitch, and I'm gonna cast on as many as I need for 1 repeat of the leaves. I finished the cast on, and we're gonna work some garter stitch. The pattern, I wrote in the pattern to work 5 rows of garter stitch, so that means we knit every row. So we just knit, and for this we don't need stitch markers. We just knit all the way to the end. And I have to apologize for the lighting. It's a gloomy day today, and I have to use extra lights in order to make this a bit brighter. So if the light changes, I apologize for that. I hope you see what I'm doing. But yeah, work 5 rows of garter stitch, and I will see you when we're ready to place the stitch markers and start the lace. Alright, so we're ready to start the lace, and you'll know you have 5 rows done when you have 3 ridges of garter stitch. That's when you know that you've done 5 rows of garter stitch. So in the first row, we're going to put the markers on. Let me just get my notes out. So I'm going to use 3 markers because I only have one section repeat. For the first row, I'm going to knit 5, which is the garter stitch border, and obviously in the pattern section with the lace, I give you row by row for the lace, and I don't mention the garter stitch border because it's so obvious, it's always there. So you always start with knit 5, then you place your marker. Okay, and now we start the lace border. So now we start the lace section. So I'm going to purl 2, then I'm going to knit 8, and now we knit 3 together, and that's why we need quite pointy needles. These are not as pointy. So you put your needle through three of them, 3 stitches, and you knit all 3 together and pull it off. Then we're going to do a yarn over, knit 1, yarn over. That's 1 section. We're going to place a marker and repeat that 10 times in total, I believe, but it's written in the pattern. So on my blanket, I put a marker after every 14 stitches to know that, that's where I'm at. And at the end, we purl 2, place another marker just before the garter stitch border, and we knit 5. That's row 1. So as you can see here, I have 3 markers. I have 1 marker after the garter stitch border, 1 marker after every 14 stitch repeat. So I have 14 stitches here. That's the lace repeat. You're gonna have 10 of those on your blanket. Then after the lace repeat, I have 2 purl stitches, and I put markers before and after both of them, and then the garter stitch border. That's row 1. For row 2 and every other row, you do the same thing. We start with the garter stitch border, which is knit 5. Then we slip the marker, knit 2, slip the marker, purl 12. So even these yarn overs that are like this, we just purl them like that. So we purl 12, that's 12. Then we knit 2, slip our marker, and repeat that as many times as you need, so 10 times in total. And for the garter stitch border, we just knit 5. So that's row 2, and every other row we do the same thing. So I'm just going to show you the right side rows from now on. So for row number 3, we start with the border, 5 stitches. Then we slide the marker, purl 2. Okay, now we're going to knit 6. And I will have instructions on the screen as well. So knit 6, knit 3 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1. That's the 14 stitch repeat. Slide the marker and do that on your stitches 9 more or 10 more times, and then we end up with a purl 2, slide the marker, and work the garter stitch border. For row number 5, knit 5 here. Okay, slide your marker, purl 2, knit 4, we're going to knit 3 together, it's a bit harder, isn't it, if I don't have my sharp platinas. Knit 3 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, slide the marker, repeat that, and end up with purl 2 and the garter stitch. Our work is starting to shape up. Row 7, knit 5, slide your marker, slip your marker, purl 2, knit 2, knit 3 together. You want to give them a pull down just so you can slide your needle through like that. Knit 3 together. Oh, try again. Knit 3 together, knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3. Slip your marker, repeat that to the last 5, 6, 7 stitches. So purl 2, slide the marker, and knit 5. We're ready for row 9, and as you can see, I'm only showing you the right side rows. The wrong side rows are all the same as row number 2. so refer back to that one. Slip your marker, purl 2. Now we're going to knit 3 together. Okay, yeah, that's it. We don't want any split stitches. So purl 2, knit 3 together. My stitches are very tight. I don't know why. On my actual blanket they're not this tight. So knit 3 together. Okay, knit 4. Oh my goodness, it just started pouring outside. I don't know if you can hear it. Yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4. Slip your marker, pull 2, and knit 5. We're ready for row 11, so I've done knit 5, purl 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, and now we're going to do the SK2P. So we slip 1 stitch, knit 2 together, and pass the slip stitch over, and then knit 8. Slip the marker, repeat that, slip your marker, purl 2, slip the marker, knit 5. Row 13, knit 5, slip the marker, purl 2, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, SK2P, so slip 1, knit 2 together, and pass the slip stitch over. Then we have knit 6, repeat that, slip your marker, purl 2, slip your marker, knit 5, so as you can see, the first leaf is leaning that way, the second leaf is going to lean that way. Row 15, knit 5, slip your marker, purl 2, knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2, S2KP, so slip 1, knit 2 together, and pass the slip stitch over, knit 4. Repeat this until your marker, purl 2, slip the other marker, knit 5. Row 17, we're nearly ready. We're nearly done with 1 repeat. Knit 5, slip marker, purl 2, knit 3, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 3. And you kind of know when you're at the S2KP section, because you can see all your stitches leaning that way. So slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, knit 2, repeat that, get to your marker, pull 2, next marker, knit 5. That's why it's good to have markers down, because it kind of reminds you, oh wait, I've got a marker before 2 stitches. Why is that? Because this is the end of the row and I need to do a purl 2. Row 19, knit 5, slip marker, purl 2, knit 4, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 4, slip 1, knit 2 together. Just make sure that you put your needles to both of them. Pass the slip stitch over. Repeat that until your marker, purl 2, slip the marker, knit 5. That's row 19. Row 20 exactly, work row 20 exactly the same way as every other row, and you'll finish with 1 repeat. And as you can see here, this leaf is going that way, this leaf is going that way, and they have a 2-stitch garter stitch in between, 2-stitch reverse stockinette in between, to kind of define the columns of the leaves. Let me show you on the blanket. And you want to repeat row 1 to 20 12 times, and you should have enough yarn to finish the blanket with the garter stitch border at the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm nearly finished with the 5th one, and I'm gonna do 12 in total, 12 repeats in total, and that will give you a square blanket. Obviously you can make this blanket as big as you want or as small as you want. If you want it bigger, you can do double the blanket, obviously double the stitches, double the repeats. It's very easy to just make it bigger or smaller. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this knitting this blanket. I do, and I can't wait to finish it and block it, and it will stretch out nicely. I just want to show you my yellow one. This is the yellow one I did the previous video I uploaded. It's washed so nice and it's soft, and it's beautiful. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!